Hello, boys and girls. Mrs. Blackburn here today for your writing lesson. Let's begin with our day 1. You will be writing an opinion essay this week, and you will be involved in a debate. Should animals be kept in zoos? Your learning goal. Students can develop an engaging opinion essay with supporting facts and details to support their opinion. Your success criteria. I can successfully write a 5-paragraph opinion essay with an introduction, supporting details, and conclusion. So again, our question is, should animals be kept in a zoo? So for your introduction, to begin, we will be reading Should Animals Be Kept in a Zoo? And before we begin writing, we need to go ahead and read the article. So let's take a look at that. Should these elephants be in the zoo? Wild animals have been kept in zoos for thousands of years, but is it time to set them free? By Talia Cohen. Monkeys swing from branches above. Baby leopards tumble in tall grass. Squawks from colorful birds echo through the trees. You might think you're in the forest of Tanzania, but then you spot a group of kids pointing at the animals through a glass wall. Yep, you're in a zoo. Zoos have existed for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, rulers collected wild animals and showed them off at their palaces. It wasn't until the 1800s, though, that public zoos opened and the average person could see dazzling creatures up close. People were wowed, but the animals were squeezed into tiny cages. They were seen more as entertainment than as living creatures. Today, in the U.S., there are laws to make sure that zoo animals are comfortable and well cared for. More and more zoo animals live in large open areas that are similar to their natural habitats. And while zoos are still a source of entertainment, many also help protect animals and teach people about them. But even with all the improvements, some people wonder, is it okay to keep animals in zoos? Bored and unhappy. The reality is that life in a zoo is different from life in the wild. For one, animals have more room to roam in nature than in any zoo. To give a polar bear the space that it has in the wild, its enclosure would have to be bigger than the state of West Virginia. And in zoos, animals must sometimes interact with each other differently than they would in nature. For example, wild elephants like to live in large, close-knit groups. In some zoos, they're forced to live in pairs or alone. Living in these kinds of conditions can be harmful to animals. Some zoo creatures show signs of being bored and unhappy. When you see a tiger pacing back and forth, there is a very stressed tiger, says Lori Marino, a scientist who studies animal behavior. Many people who oppose zoos argue that they're not worth the suffering they cause. Protecting wildlife. But supporters say that zoos help animals, not hurt them. The best zoos do all they can to make enclosures feel and smell like home. The St. Louis Zoo uses spices, perfumes, and even poop to imitate the smells of an animal's natural habitat. For some animals, zoos are safer than the wild, where they face dangers like hunters, climate change, and disease. That's especially important for animals that are endangered or at risk of dying out. Zoos have saved creatures like the black-footed ferret and the California condor from becoming extinct. Finally, zoos are an important place for research and education. They let scientists study animals that they can't approach in the wild. And for visitors, seeing and learning about these amazing creatures can inspire them to help protect wildlife. So the debate continues. Should animals stay in zoos, or do they belong in the wild? Well, what do you think? Is it okay to keep animals in zoos? So go back to the article and find information to support each side. Write the information on the lines below. Yes, keep animals safe. No, set animals free. Study the points on both sides of the argument and think about your own opinion. State your opinion in one sentence below. It can become the thesis statement for an opinion essay on this topic. So remember, you will need this chart. It's very important to do this activity. It's the planning stage to write your 3 paragraphs. So this will be the topic sentence, and then your thesis statement will be in your introduction. And no matter which side you're on, you will still need to use these as your topic sentences. All right, so let's look back at our PowerPoint. So here in your introduction, you will need to have what your opinion is, and then you will need to write a hook. Okay, remember, a hook is how you are going to hook the reader in. So, for example, this was an example that we used last time. It was a riddle. So you could start with a riddle. You can start with a description. You can start with a very interesting fact. So there's lots of different things you could do. You could start with a quotation, but there's ways to get your reader interested. Remember, we're trying to stay away from the question because it is so overused. So in your introductory paragraph, you want to have a hook. You want to have your thesis statement, which is your sentence that states what your opinion is, where you stand on the debate, and then what you will be covering in your writing paper, in your debate. Okay? So, in conclusion, an opinion essay includes supporting facts and details to support your opinion. It includes a plan with details from both sides and a thesis statement. An opinion essay includes research with facts and details. It also includes an introduction, supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. Well, that concludes our lesson for day 1. I hope you enjoyed the article and are excited about writing it. You will have a puzzle piece to complete in Schoology. Have a wonderful day.